For number 2 in the review of basic sinusoids and vertical transformation notes, we're going to use Desmos to graph some sine and cosine functions and to explore a little bit what A and D do. If we have y equals a sine x, what does that A value do? A sine x plus D, what does the D value do? So I've opened up Desmos. You can go to desmos.com and start graphing. And now I'm going to enter in my function. So here I can type y equals a sine, and I'll put x, and then plus d. And you notice that Desmos, this pop-up comes up, add slider, and I'm going to add sliders for both a and d, which will help us with our exploration. So go ahead and add a slider. And now we're going to want to set up our scale. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit the wrench. So when I hit the wrench here, it'll let me change my settings. So my x-axis, if you look at the notes, we want this to go from -2 pi to +2 pi. So I'm going to type 2, and then you can just type pi, and Desmos will convert that to pi, the pi number. Same thing, so I'm going from -2 pi to 2 pi. This step, that's what how my grid is going to be denoted, and I want that to be pi divided by 4. So just type pi. I don't know if you saw what I did that. I'll do that again. So let me delete that. So we're going to do pi, then /4, and then the y-axis, we want that to go from -4 to +4 with a step of 1. And keep the angle measure in radians. So this will be good for our graph. And now we're going to explore a little bit. Let's see what happens. So it says you're going to do, actually, you should go ahead and do these explorations on your own. It says, the first one says, let a equals 1 and modify the d value. So I would start d at 0. And when we do this, I have y equals a sine x plus d. This is the parent function that we just graphed above. And then you'll play around with it, see what happens as you move the d slider, and then draw some conclusions. For letter B, the notes say, let d be 0, and then modify the a value. So as you do that, when d is 0, you can see what happens as you modify the a value. And then in letter C, so I'm going to put a back to 1 and d back to 0. Letter C says change the equation so that it's a cosine equation instead of a sine equation. So you can just go ahead and edit this, change sine to cosine, and then you can see what happens to the graph. This is the parent function, and then you can go ahead and modify the values for a and d and see what happens. So that's the end of the video. Do the exploration, and then you'll come back to the notes, and I'll go over this with you.